Hi there, and welcome. My name is Danielle, and I'm the host of Talking Happily Ever After, launching on January 8th, 2022. Talking Happily Ever After is a podcast about the feel good movies from Hallmark, Lifetime, Up TV, and soon GAC In the coming months, prior to the launch, I'll be doing some short movie reviews. Today we're talking about Lilley Wrapped for Christmas. This is the last soft launch episode before January 8th when we officially launch the podcast. This movie premiered on Saturday, the 27th of November on GAC Family. And the movie stars Jen Lilley as Lindsay Peterson and Brandon Fehr as Prince Aidan of Feronia. Lindsay is the New York branch manager of the Festive Heart Foundation. The foundation originates in Feronia. She and her friend Monica both work for the foundation. And during the festival's gift exchange, Lindsay meets a handsome stranger who seems to have traveled from Feronia with the international director of the foundation, Willard Harlow. The handsome stranger introduces himself as Grinch Heart. He has never wrapped gifts before, so Lindsay offers to teach him. He's not very good at it, but he did his best. Lindsay and her friend think he's an accountant with the foundation. Willard Harlow invites Lindsay to come early to Feronia. She already planned to travel there for the 100th anniversary of the foundation. Lindsay is the most successful national manager, so Willard is quite impressed. He also invited other national brand managers to arrive early. He wants them to help plan the centennial celebration. On arrival in Feronia, Lindsay is in awe of the palace. Opulence, footmen, and her room is out of a fairy tale. And there's a painting in her room of a woman she suspects was queen once. Do you know those paintings in which the eyes of the subject follow you everywhere? Yeah, it's one of those. The other branch managers in attendance are Matilda Anand from India and Shane Kelly from Ireland. The moment arrives for them to meet the Queen and the Crown Prince. And Lindsay gets a very unpleasant surprise. Remember the handsome guy who traveled to New York with Willard? The one Lindsay and Monica thought was an accountant? Well, he's no other than Crown Prince Aidan of Feronia. After a rocky start, Lindsay and the prince get along very well. While brainstorming about the format for the centennial celebration, Shane steals Lindsay's ID. He suspects that Willard is retiring soon and he wants the job at all costs. Due to a century-old tradition, Prince Aidan has to marry Princess Dahlia from Marquesa. She will arrive on Christmas Eve, and Lindsay helps Aidan find a suitable gift for her. Lindsay suggests a rescue dog. Aidan also helps with the planning for the big night and needs some information on the first gift exchange by his great-great-aunt Helena. His mom, who has in-depth knowledge of the family's history, does not want to talk about it. She acts very strange. The town baker provides clarity. Lilibet, the woman in the painting in Lindsay's room, was a commoner and became queen. Aidan's mother isn't too happy that Aidan and Lindsay are getting so close. She decides to bring Dahlia's visit forward. Dahlia arrives early with her very protective bodyguard named Philippe. Remember Matilda and Shane? They worked together with Lindsay on the plans for the gala. Shane took credit for Lindsay's initial ID, but couldn't deliver more information. Lindsay goes to Parliament with Willard to present her ID for the gala. She gets permission to implement the IDs. They were very impressed with her. Aiden decides to do some research on his family history on his own. And indeed, he finds out that his great great aunt was a commoner. He has a heart to heart with his mother, and she knew about Queen Lilibet being a commoner. Aiden's great great uncle, Crown Prince Clovis, abdicated so he could marry the love of his life, Helena. Helena was Lilibet's neighbor. Lilibet was an orphan. His brother Humphreys, who was next in line for the throne, fell in love with Lilibet. He was ready to step aside too. So the king, their father, manufactured a family tree for Lilibet and she became queen. The current queen suspects that Aiden is ready to abdicate the throne for love. She talks to him about the consequences for Veronia, for Dahlia, and also for Lindsay. Feelings are royal's worst enemy, she says. Before leaving for Veronia, Lindsay and her friend Monica exchanged gifts, one to keep and one to give. The queen overhears Dahlia on the phone with her dad, begging him for permission to go back home. Why? She doesn't want to marry Aiden. She's in love with someone else. When Lindsay sees Dahlia in a sad mood, she gifts her the gift to give. And when Dahlia opens it, it's a heart with the statement, "Follow your heart." Aiden and Dahlia have an awkward conversation in which Dahlia tells him that she's going home. She releases him from the arrangement. And the love of her life? Did you guess? Her bodyguard. Willard offers Lindsay the job of international director for the Festive Heart Foundation. She declines. Lindsay knows about the rule that Aiden can't marry a commoner. She doesn't want to stand in the way of Aiden becoming king. She decides not to attend the gala. But Tilly tells her that she deserves to be there. It was her idea that was implemented. The queen sees her son-in-law and petitions Parliament to strike the clause obligating the prince to marry a royal. Lindsay attends the gala, and as you can guess, she enters the room looking like a princess. Aiden invites her to the podium and proposes to her. Of course, she said yes. Tilly is promoted to international director. And as we say, Aiden and Lindsay lived happily ever after. This story is very well written. While the outcome of some parts was quite obvious, the movie held my interest till the end. Aiden and Lindsay had great chemistry. The writer, W. Stewart, wrote a great screenplay. Just enough twists and turns. I'm looking forward to more of her work. GAC family, you promised stories well told. You didn't disappoint. Keep those good movies coming. The Queen made her son's happiness priority. I love that. Willard was fun. His reaction to the snowman Lindsay and Aiden customized was hilarious. He was so proper, you know. He reminded me of Soren in The Prince and Me. If you haven't seen that movie, it's worth your time. They all did a great job portraying their characters. I didn't expect anything less from Jen Lilley. She's a seasoned actor and always inhabits her characters in a superb way. The cast was somewhat diverse, and that's always a plus. For me, there were many reminders in this movie. Love your job. Lindsay loved her job and worked extremely hard. Be ambitious, but never at the expense of others. Shane tried to impress Willard and Aiden by stealing Lindsay's ID and failed miserably in the end. Taking credit for somebody else's work is unethical. Be true to yourself. Both Aiden and Dahlia put tradition aside so they could be with the one they love. Never downplay yourself, your ideas, or your success. There were many more, but I'll leave it at these four. Okay, if I had to critique something in this movie, would you be working for a royal foundation and not recognize your employer? I don't think so. And why wasn't Shane from Ireland openly called out for taking credit for Lindsay's ideas? And do they really hold galas in small rooms? All in all, guys, I love this movie and I'm rating it 3.5 out of my 4 stars. What are your thoughts on Royally Wrapped for Christmas? Let's chat about it. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, stay well.